All right. I just saw a request for a video on psychedelics. So on psychedelics, here's the thing with that. It typically deals with the balancing of different parts of the brain. First is chemically, is how it's medicinally used or suggested, like LSD for the treatment of schizophrenia, etc., and other mental disorders. See, the anything that is psychoactive that way is pretty much a psychedelic. You know, anything also that can potentially boost the heart rate is also a psychedelic. A psychedelic naturally can be something as much as running, the runner's high that you get after intense physical exercise. This can also have psychedelic effects. But in more of the new school hipster community, it's about spirituality. So that's another aspect of psychedelia, where they go into the spirituality, and this ties into peyote, ayahuasca, DMT, shrooms, toad poison. It's said that these things are not addictive substances, and basically what these psychedelics in the spirituality realm are designed to do is to take you into a deeper part of yourself subconsciously. And what you'll get is this whole idea of some sort of sensory deprivation or sensory excitability. But either way, the machinations behind the sensory deprivation tanks, etc., goes into the further stimulating of the other senses. So, for example, to see more with your third eye, you would be in a darker room with your eyes, fully closed and blindfolded, so to speak, in a dark place, and you'll see shapes form. Now, this actually happens naturally because DMT is found in the pineal gland. So this DMT is always secreted. These crystals are always shattered whenever you're in meditation, actually. Meditation being the ultimate psychedelic, because you can change your brainwave patterns all on your own through breathing techniques, which is relaxation, which is the changing of the heart rate. There are substances created for this to be done on the outside, from the outside of yourself. So this also ties in and makes a link to whether you're going to go the medicinal route for meditation to maybe lower your blood pressure, or if you want to do it just to reach altered states of mind for the purposes of spirituality, personal growth, personal recreation. Some people just want to have a dope trip. Some people are just curious and seeing what lies beyond the folds of what is usually in their perceptual field, just to see what the Citra aura is, or what they call the other side. What hints toward psychedelia is the Samael clip-off in the cliphotic tree. Samael is the psychedelic realm. After you have sipped from God's venom, the venom from the chalice that breaks you out of the illusion and allows you to effectively disenchant from the world stage play, so to speak. And through the energy of Lilith, you're able to see the energetic force that goes in what they call the in-between. So to clip off the husk, it's the world that's in between this world. That's how it's designed to be. And so all the purposes of psychedelics is to get you in between this world, below this world, or beyond this world. It's going to be based on where you're aiming as a practitioner. This is going to be an enhancement of it. With these things can come the digging up of suppressed and repressed memories. All of these things, because you're tapping into all atmospheres of the brain. Look at the brain like a whole separate you that exists in your head that is crouched, like the brain is shaped like a person that's huddled, like in the fetal position, but is a giant. And all those little grooves in the brain happens from your experience, whether it's from the outside or the inside. Psychedelics are used to intentionally use these chemical compounds to affect the grooves and to manually affect the neuroplasticity that happens in the brain. And this creates the impressions in psychedelia. So with the colors, with the shapes, with the forms, with the liminal spaces, with the revelations, with the voices, etc., all of this spills into psychedelia. And you start entertaining other phenomenon inside of whatever the trip would entail. Like you might experience, again, all forms of kinesis, geokinesis, telekinesis, psychokinesis. All things can be potentially kinetic because in the beyond, on the astral plane, different layers of the astral plane, many things are suspended in air or take on an opposite orientation to the way you see them in your waking stage. In your waking life, your dresser might be on the right side of the room, but your dream may feel so real until you realize that in the dream, your dresser is actually on the left-hand side. Psychedelia helps you to identify all of the little idiosyncrasies that happen to create this line of demarcation between the real and the surreal. The surreal, being appropriated effectively, becomes the pro-real or the pre-real, before reality. There's pre-reality, reality, and post-reality. Post-reality is to reflect. Pre-reality is to predict. And reality is to relish in the moment. What psychedelia does and psychedelics does is it takes all three of those states, pre-reality, reality, and post-reality, and squishes them together so that all of this is all one moment. What it does is give you a overwhelming and profound sense of now, the way it's described. I personally have not taken any psychedelics, so I can't speak from personal experience of how it may feel or look. This is just based on research and different studies over the field, over the years in my field of study, that being psychology, what I have a degree in. So in that, on your way to the MD level, should you go all the way into psychiatry, the broaching of psychedelia is going to be the elephant in the room, but that elephant is going to be camouflaged. It's going to be dressed up as medicine, not as psychedelics, but dressed up as treatments for chemical imbalances in the brain. But essentially, anything that is psychoactive is psychedelic. Anything that is psychoactive is psychedelic. So with that being said, there's no judgment on, anyone who uses any psychedelics for any reason. There's tribes and villages where things are very normalized, and there's no hip hop culture, and different things that will slant the usage of things to be linked up to certain events. Like, for instance, you're not going to, in a village, you might not see people chewing peyote leaves for the purpose of war. They might be going to contact their ancestors in the hut. They might go into a smoke room or a teepee of some sort. This may not be for war. Whereas on the other hand, something like alcohol or what they will call strong drink will be for war. And typically you have warriors drink the strongest drink they could to either contact those on the other side, because many drinks being hallucinogenics also, because that's one way that is ingested, is usually through the consumption being that eating, drinking, or inhaling. And for some, just touching the surface of something, depending on what type of psychedelic it is. Areas being most affected being the brain and the liver. So you want to be careful about that. You hear and read on how over shrooming and things like that can really take a toll on your liver, so to speak. So, and I believe also the kidneys, but again, you want to do research on that to know for sure. But the ultimate shortcut though into psychedelia, where you can come and go as you please without the need for any warm-ups or anything, is just to have a very, very overactive imagination. If your imagination being overactive is conceptualized and made concrete through visualization, because imagination and visualization are not the same. But if you're taking your imagination, the free-flowing, overactive imagination, and you're making it concrete into a visualization, now you're beginning to create and leave your mark on psychedelia. And if you believe in the parallel universe theory, then anything that you can possibly conceive of is already a world waiting on you to tap into it. So this and many other things is what you'll find in the school of thought and psychedelia and psychedelics. Super T Sigma. Continue to vibrate high, people. Peace.